Okay, thanks, Mr. Suresh. I think that was awesome, and thanks for making our lives easier and seamless. We can still catch all the flights despite the traffic jams and the flooding. Appreciate making our lives really easier. Uh, so I have a colleague on stage here. His name is Mr. Naren Kachroo. He leads the GTM for GenAI for us in India at Google Cloud. Uh, so I generate artificial content. Naren generates intelligent content. So that's why we have this generative AI content, ready for you in that sense. We just wanted to start off with a demo, and hopefully the demo works. Go ahead.
Okay, let's do some tests. Tell me when you see something that makes sound.
I see a speaker, which makes sound.
What is that part of the speaker called?
That is the tweeter. It produces high-frequency sounds.
Give me a creative alliteration about these.
Creative crayons color cheerfully. They certainly craft colorful creations.
What does that part of the code do?
This code defines encryption and decryption functions. It seems to use AES-CBC encryption to encode and decode data based on a key and an initialization vector, IV.
That's right. What neighborhood do you think I'm in?
This appears to be the King's Cross area of London. It is known for its railway station and transportation connections.
Do you remember where you saw my glasses?
Yes, I do. Your glasses were on the desk near a red apple.
What can I add here to make this system faster?
Adding a cache between the server and database could improve speed.
What does this remind you of?
Schrodinger's cat.
All right, give me a band name for this duo.
Golden Stripes.
Nice. Thanks, Gemini.
So the future is pretty bright, as you can see out here, with AI assistants, or you can call it AI agents. And I think that's the hot news as of today, right? You can see a lot of organizations getting into building AI agents. Mr. Suresh showed us the flight and the airport options we have with Vijayatra. Hopefully later on we'll be able to show how using your voice you can actually book a ticket through train, and that serves a lot more millions of customers out here in India. But most importantly for organizations out here, right, I think everyone starts off with this hype around generative AI, and it's very important to know that there are a few things which you have to do right. Now, this is no rocket science, but what is important is there has to be a matching of what your business and corporate strategy with the AI initiatives. Otherwise, a lot of AI initiatives remain in the domain of what we call as PhD experiments. Most importantly, have a top-down approach as well as a bottoms-up approach, and we'll explain that in the next slide. You have to prioritize the right use cases. So once you build the vision along with your corporate strategy and how AI can actually help you with those initiatives, build the right use cases from a priority perspective. Because again, there are a host of use cases. Everyone wants to do something with generative AI, but not all of them bring business results, or not all of them bring the results you're looking for from an organizational perspective. And the third most important piece is there's not enough tracking happening. And tracking could be with respect to systems, with respect to your operational metrics, it could be with respect to your ROI, and a whole lot of other things. So it's very important that the elements of a successful AI, and I'm referring to AI, I'm not even referring to Gen AI specifically, Gen AI is part of it, right? But what's most important is as your orgs go through this cycle, you should be in a position to sort of put all of this in clear writing for everybody in your organization to know where are we heading with this AI strategy. Go to the next. Yeah, so as I mentioned, right, if you look at the top-down approach from the leadership, they might not know what is happening on the ground. And who knows what is happening on the ground in real-time intelligence are the people in the teams who are really working on those use cases. And how do you get to them? You get them through crowdsourcing, you get them through hackathons, you get them through some experiments which you're doing. Now, again, as I said, not all of them will lead to business value, but they are experiments to understand what is important and what is not important. But then the merging and amalgamation of the top-down approach and the bottoms-up approach. Again, what is important when we call it as a strategic priority? Those are the ones which business is really very importantly noticing and observing. And just if you come down one layer, you're talking about AI themes and domains. Where can you use AI in the organization? You can use AI in the organization with respect to building a new product. You can use AI in the organization with respect to a customer journey. You can use AI in the organization with respect to contact center improvements. You can use AI to improve your backend processes. And there's a whole lot of things in between which you can do with AI. So the themes and domains again have to be articulated and put into your buckets of, is it going to improve revenue? Is it going to reduce our cost, improve productivity, reduce risk? Or is it going to give me a leap in terms of innovation? Because that's the other index which a lot of businesses are looking for in this era of AI. So it's extremely important how you get and how do you analyze that? How do you now prioritize which are the most important use cases? So there's this Y metric around actionability and there's this X metric around feasibility. And the size of the circles which you see, right, it denotes the business value. So we'll start off with the business value. What is important for business value, so to say, right? Most importantly, is it going to matter to your customers? Is it going to matter to your employees? I think the first important thing is impact. The next important thing is how does it align to your business? And the third most important thing, which we normally don't look at for other projects, how are you going to reuse it? Because most important is going to be how are you going to reuse and extend it to other business cases. When you come to feasibility, I think there is this feasibility primarily around, is everything an AI use case? Probably not. In some cases, you don't need AI. In some cases, you don't need GenAI. What is important around data? Do you have all the data? With all the silos in the organization, do you have data readiness, trustworthy data, accessible data, which you can put to, because the better your data, the better your model. And that's very important. And the last piece is how much of risk tolerance is there from an inaccuracy perspective and from a misuse perspective. Lastly, when you look at the feasibility piece of it, first of all, the actionability piece of it, you look at what is available from a usability perspective, what is available from how quickly can this be adopted, and how can we really take it steaming ahead in our organization. So adaptation to existing processes makes it easier. If you have to break your processes of data integration, organizational workflows, it becomes a slow case for AI adoption. So I would put these in buckets. When I talked about measuring and tracking projects, I don't need to go through each one of them, but there are 5 areas. The business impact one is right there in the middle because it's the most important, but you also need to look at how your infrastructure works, what is the quality of your model, right? How is it performing? And what is the reliability around it? How is the security around it, which is there? When you look at adoption metrics, all of us know what adoption metrics are. DJ Atra, CEO, spoke about adoption metrics. What are the operational metrics out here? What is your ROI measurement? How are you looking through the click-throughs which are there? And system metrics. Is your system capable of delivering that performance? Somebody asked the question, right? When you have 70 million passengers, how does DJ Atra work? That's exactly what we mean by system metrics out here. So what is important for an AI platform? And refer to the word, I have not used the word model except for the model quality. AI platform is so much more than the model. Here we are all fighting models. So this model is better than this model. Tomorrow some other model becomes better. But what we provide to you and what is most important when you're looking at the choice of a model is the platform. Do you have a very integrated tech stack with the state of the art models? Now today there is a Claude 3.5 Sonnet which has got released. Is it available on your platform? It is available on our platform incidentally. If you have Llama 3.2, is it available on your platform? If you have Gemini 1.5, is that available on your platform? Open source models, Google's own models, state of the art, all the models are available on a platform. More importantly, are they integrated with your developer functions, GitLab, GitHub? Are they all available in a way where you can clearly integrate all your repositories and get going much faster? And most importantly, do you have the infrastructure to support the AI initiatives which are there? And last but not the least, enterprise readiness. When I say enterprise readiness, yes, it relates to your org's readiness, but most importantly, it's the platform ready from a privacy perspective, governance perspective, security perspective, safety perspective, grounding perspective. Is your data grounded? Is your data grounded in facts, explainability, responsible AI, ethical AI? That's what is very important from an enterprise readiness perspective, which is what sort of explains the next one. So we do have over 150 state-of-the-art models in our platform. And if you all don't know where the word transformer came from, please go and look up an article called "Attention is All You Need." You can Google it now itself. Attention is all you need. That was the basis of the technology of what we call as transformers. And transformers were released in 2017 and open sourced by Google. And so after this session, please go and use Gemini and see how well it performs. Yes, we all heard ChatGPT. Please go and use Gemini and you'll really know the difference on how it performs. That's where we started. So we open source models, and on the basis of that, there's been 20 years of research in AI from Google. And if you heard the Nobel Nobel Chemistry Prize given for Demis Hassabis and John Jumper for breaking the structure of 200 million proteins. And proteins are the lifeline for life itself. Even the physics one was given to an ex-Googler researcher, Mr. Hinton or Dr. Hinton. And that's where the power of AI comes in for the benefit of humanity. So there's been a series of innovations, primarily, and we've landed up with Google Gemini, which is a cross collaboration between Google research teams who have written more than 7,000 papers on AI. Google DeepMind, probably the best organization in the world as far as AI is concerned, and Google Cloud, which provides all the underlying infrastructure, including the TPUs and the GPUs, which are required to power the Gemini. We have a lot of customers in India who are already having production use cases. And we'll take a couple of examples on that. So we have HDFC Ergo, which has, while they built applications to understand the user life journeys, they have a bot for customers for comparing various insurance offerings, Optima versus Optima Plus. They have internal employee chatbots which are there, and they have bots which goes through their competitors' annual business performances and comes up with a competitive view of how Ergo should handle it. It plays right into the strength of generative AI today, which is quickly creating summaries, detecting information, detecting all the things required for us to make a real competitive one. If you look at Federal Bank, send money to my mom, pay my electricity bill. And this is right there in the portal, in the Federal Bank portal. So if you think banks are slow, think again. Banks actually are moving quite fast. More importantly, around risk management, right? I don't know if there are bankers in this audience out here. If you look at Apollo 247, extremely important, we built a healthcare vertical domain one, which was called as MedPalm. And that model is used to power, and that was in conjunction with Mayo Hospital, one of the best hospitals in the world. And that is used to build an intelligence engine using Vertex AI, which is our platform, Google's platform. And it helps patients answer as well as doctors, can be provided with the next recommendations. We just released one called, what is it called? The Bump. We just released one called Bump from a pregnancy, progress perspective. And that's also available as part of Apollo 24/7. Okay, if you all knew when the CrowdStrike incident happened, what really kept Indigo alive? The WhatsApp chatbot in Indigo. When you asked questions, you got absolute answers. It connected beautifully and was a lifeline for Indigo and its customers. That day when everything went down, any customer who was using the WhatsApp chatbot was able to get real-time information about the flight delays, their own PNRs, their own journeys, and that was possible through a chatbot built on Google Cloud. So just letting you know how important and how valuable it has become as a process for business itself. You can book tickets as well, by the way, on that itself. So it becomes a very seamless journey. So we just want to do a quick one. I know we did one on the flights and Digiyatra. I just want to do one with Disha. Go ahead, Naren.
11th of August.
Please select the train of your choice.
Tejas.
Please choose from the available dates. Please confirm your booking. Please provide your IRCTC user ID.
Abhishek.
Please select your passengers for the journey. Please select catering service option for the passenger. Please review your journey details. Kindly input the OTP received on your mobile number and email ID registered with your IRCTC user ID to proceed further.
306234.
Please select the payment mode.
UPI.
Please provide your UPI ID to continue.
7889482974 @SBI.
So there you go. You didn't have to type anything. You just have to speak and book your tickets. And we spoke about millions of passengers on flights. This probably has access for billions of, or at least 1.7 billion people in India. That's the power of the technology, and you just have to speak, and this will be available in vernacular as and when that gets ready. I just want to leave you all with one last view, which is around the which is around the type of agents we are seeing, right? We are seeing agents from customer agents, which can help customer processes, customer experience, customer lifetime values, on to employee agents, which makes all those jobs faster, right? Repetitive queries. Creative agents, you quickly need to put together, even for this event, you could have probably used something to put together a set of slides or a deck or material enough for this event. You can have data agents which do a real job of cleaning up the data and making the right and most relevant data available. We have security agents, which again are very, very important because we are slowly starting to see security becoming important for the LLMs out there. And for software developers, creating code, developing code, cleaning up code, and converting code. All of that is possible with what we call as code assist. So there's a whole lot of agents on top of what we call as a platform, which customers can use and truly build a forward-looking, enabled, AI-enabled organization. So we just want to show one last demo about how a coffee seller, when I say coffee seller, a coffee machine seller moving across London, and how it works.
Thanks, Bala.
Naren, over to you.
We use this. Can you guys hear me? Thanks again, Bala. Very insightful. I represent. I'm doing a little bit of a role play. I represent a business owner of a on-the-wheels coffee distribution startup based in London, so what we have done through this demo is to quickly show you the power of agentic interventions or using generative AI agents in all your business aspects, in operations, in real-time marketing, and how all those interventions and how all these agents come together. So this is a startup for coffee on wheels, and as you can see, there are few routes, coffee routes for trucks, etc. That's set out. The first thing that I'll show you is that we have integrated GenAI with a weather agent. So think of this as a weather agent where I'm getting a signal directly through a generative AI intervention in my application that there is some chance of rain on Friday. And based on this, generative AI itself determines that it is better for my coffee trucks on that day at that time to be in covered areas where you will find more traction. So it automatically updates the routes, and that route, all I need to do as a human in loop is to publish that route if I feel that's critical. The other thing is live tracking. So an agentic intervention on tracking live on how the current situation is, and this is an integration that we have done with Google Maps. In addition to that, in all your businesses, you would have seen that you can, drive this metric around top selling products, low selling products. But the issue is, what do you do about these products that are not doing as well, right? You will go back and create a campaign, release it. It's a long process. So what we have done in this is we have integrated a GenAI agent, which is a real-time marketing agent for us. And we know that cappuccino is not doing well. And one of the things we could do as a result is generate a marketing campaign, all GenAI driven. The content is GenAI driven based on brand guidelines. The imagery is generated from generative AI through Imagine, which is our product for text to image generation, and then based on cohorts, send the email directly. So we have been able to do that, in one click, as you can see. What I also have in here is an agent intervention to tell me in the past what all I may have missed. Right? So for example, today at 8:05, there was a concert going on in some area where my trucks were not present. So I potentially had a loss of $1,000, right? So that this issue doesn't happen in the future, I can go and look in the future as well on what is going on, right? So, the ability in the future to know that there is a game somewhere or something where my trucks need to be, I can integrate that. So these are all agentic workflows. The other thing that business owners like to do is to look at their operational reports and operational metrics in terms of sales, performance, etc. The ability for us to get answers on the fly through using natural language queries, and just using very natural language, natural English language queries to get insights into data through agentic interventions is also very powerful. Ability. So this, I think we have some internet issues, but this is connected directly into Google's Looker environment, which is our BI tooling, and the ability for us to have natural text, based prompts to generate meaningful operational reports is. So just, I wanted to conclude by saying, the power is not in just generative AI models, but the power is how you bring these models to life through creating generative AI agents, which will not only do Q&A and chatbot kind of an intervention for you, but actually take and execute certain actions on your behalf in a process. So back to Bala to conclude.
About in action here, and the real purpose was to show that all of you can build this for your organizations.